All right, we're back talking horse racing on Prime Sports Network. We have just a few more days till 2023. This is our final show for 2022. And really, if I look at it, guys, I believe this is our fourth show in the last week. I don't think I think the next time we do 4 shows in a week will be at December 2023.
I don't think that's in our contract, Chad. Chad?
The Norm Cash of radio show.
Can we go out on strike?
Want to remind everybody, because we have had some questions, just keep in mind, because this was a little tricky, because we did have copyright claim from our award show with all of the clips that I was posting. So we don't get monetized on those shows, which is why you can't see the thanks icon. But 95% or 99% of our other shows, you can see the thanks icon on the screen. That's what you click, and that's where you can donate to the show. We appreciate that. And don't forget, anytime you donate to the show, Chad and John will be donating themselves half of everything that comes in their way, and those donations will go to the Permanent Disabled Jockeys Fund and the Old Friends for Retired Horses. We want to thank Bluegrass Dan for his $50 donation. That was the last donation we received, and that was just about a few days ago. Let's now talk about what happened on our last pick show, because we had our 2023 prediction show, which is available on the channel. We did that a few days ago. John, you were the big winner on our pick show last week, not only with Taiba, but you also gave out the bonus pick in the La Brea Stakes, which came through in flying colors.
The longest of the Baffords, yes, he did. It was good, but that was last time. Today was a new day.
And Taiba, guys, I know we talked a little bit about Taiba. Yeah. Taiba is definitely one of the top horses to keep an eye on this season.
He ran a 4.
Wow, okay. Tied his best.
Yep.
And right. Chad, you have a horse running today, Aqueduct, race 8?
I do, yeah.
What do you think?
It's off to Saudi Arabia for Taiba. We'll be seeing him next in the $20 million Saudi Cup.
Oh, when is that?
February 25th.
Are you going there this year?
That's the plan. We're gonna find out tomorrow, but that's the plan.
You go every year?
No, I went the first year. I haven't been back since.
Oh, you weren't back. Where were you last year?
Dubai.
Ah, okay.
He's a world traveler.
I get those confused.
To have him with us. You don't realize how lucky we are.
As promised on last week's show, Gulfstream looked awfully tempting, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. Even though we're still in 2022, this is going to be the first, because this is really the beginning of the new season, isn't it, John?
Well, their championship meet started on Christmas Day back on Monday, so yes.
All right.
This is their championship meet, along with Santa Anita's.
First of many at Gulfstream this season, and we'll be doing races 8 and 10, starting with race 8. The 7-furlong race, Grade 3 Mr. Prospector Stakes, 3-year-olds and up. And we start with the 1, Surly Furious. Surly Furious, a 15-1 shot. Jockey last couple of mounts were Saez, so a little bit of a downgrade there to Martin Garcia. Only 4 races on dirt, John, and the last 2 on dirt, 10 last June, 11, which actually was the last race for this horse in October.
Yeah, this horse is fine. The problem with this race is we have horses shipping in from all over the country. So, some horses need a race or work over the track. This horse has done neither. But off the figures, he certainly has a shot to run a 9 or 10, and that's what I gave him. And at 15-1, you may consider using this horse.
Gulfstream is a track that normally plays as a speed favoring track. My problem in this race is there's a lot of speed. So this horse cutting back from a mile to 7/8, where speed is his game, I just don't think he's as fast as some of the others in here. And even though he's run okay once before, without making the lead, I think he would prefer to be in front, especially from that rail position. And I think he's got a lot of work to do in this race, especially at the 7/8 distance. So I'm going to go against him here.
All right, the 2 is Speaking, a 20-1 shot. And Speaking is, look, if you take a look at his sheets from last November, John, really good. Had that bad race in the grade 3 at Belmont, and then 17, 15, 13, 12, 211. So everything was really going well until the last race, which was at Parks, ran a 14. But if we draw a line through that at 20-1, it's not like this isn't a bad idea.
Problem with this horse is his 2 worst races over the last 2 years were basically without Lasix. Last year, the Belmont race was without Lasix. He ran a 31. Yeah, that was a distance, so I guess you could excuse it. But the 14 last time out at Parks was also without Lasix. All the developing was going on with Lasix, 13, 12, 11, 11. All that was with Lasix. As soon as he comes off the Lasix, he reacts to the 14. You know, I mean, he's like other horses in the race. I could see making a case for him because of the 20-1, but I think he may be a Lasix horse.
You know, I thought he ran better than that 14 suggested last time. I didn't think he ran terrible. You know, the speed kind of came back. I thought he ran well. He is the lone 3-year-old in this race, and he gets a significant weight break from the others in the field. I think he gets 6 pounds, which is at this time of the year. I mean, he's basically almost a 4-year-old. I was very surprised to see that difference in the weights. But look, I think he can sit. I don't think he needs the lead. I think he can be close to the pace. And he's a horse that I give a little bit of a chance to as an outside, you know, kind of an outside horse at a big price. But I think others in here are just a little bit better than him right now.
Next up is the 3, Sibelius, a 3-1 shot. The odds are really the thing that bothers me the most, because you see those 2 6s, which kind of came out of nowhere, reverted back to the 12s and the 10s, which is right around what we've seen from this horse earlier in the season, but still not. I mean, good competitive horse, but 3-1. What happened to those 6s, by the way?
Well, I don't know where they came from. He had an 8 earlier this year at Aqueduct, so he had the potential to run the 6s. But the 6s may have hurt him for a while, but he did run a 10 last time out, so he can be circling back around. Problem, like you say, is the 3-1. If he was a price, I would have no problem using him. But at 3-1, I think he's like other horses in the race.
He seems to run better with Lasix. I think without the Lasix, the last couple haven't done him any favors. And I think he's better 3/4 horse than 7/8, to be honest with you. They don't think he needs the lead. They think he can sit. Junior Alvarado, who's just 7 wins shy of 2,000 in his career, has ridden him. He knows him very well at this stage. June Park, one of the owners, is a really, really good guy. He managed Nick's Go for the KRA. Look, I think that this is a horse that you can turn around and say, oh, okay, you know, he won it. It's no surprise, but I'm going to try and beat him here.
All right, the 4 is a 4-1 shot, Papa Cap. And Papa Cap's got Rosario on board, so that's a good thing. He was on board last time out, ran 4th in the Amsterdam, the grade 2 at Saratoga. Unfortunately, John, that's pretty much it, because if Rosario wasn't on board, I wouldn't even look at this horse twice. His best sheet line, I believe, his best sheet number is a 12, and he's run a 12 a lot.
Yeah, I mean, at 4-1, this horse is one of the first horses to throw out, honestly. I mean, you know, the body of work is fine. He's made $800,000. But that being said, the numbers-wise, he just doesn't fit. And you could certainly do better than this horse at 4-1.
In the year of Gunrunner, it would be only fitting that a son of Gunrunner were to tend out the show on a winning note. Papa Cap was actually the first grade 1 placed son of Gunrunner back last year when he was running at Del Mar. He comes in off of freshening. I think he needed a little break. I think he's probably better going at these shorter distances. They're using this as a prep for the Pegasus, which is a very, very interesting prep for this barn. The thing that I really like about this horse is the breeze 2 back. They worked on 5 furlongs out of the gate. And sometimes on a horse like this, even though he's run 100 times, giving him a little bit of a reminder, a little bit of a freshening out of the gate, especially when you want him sharp in a 7 furlong race, is just what the doctor ordered. And I like that move. And I'm actually going to give this horse a little bit of a chance, despite only being 4-1.
Okay, next up is the 5, Steel Sunshine. And Steel Sunshine I'm going to use as one of my picks. I like the odds for sure. I also like the fact that the best race for Steel Sunshine was the 7 furlongs at Gulfstream Park. That was in July. Started the season 16, couple of 14s, couple of 11. Peaked at the 9, it appeared, but what I'm willing to forgive the 14 and the 16, the last 2 races, is the fact that they weren't at Gulfstream Park. He's back at Gulfstream Park where he was trending the initial part of the year, and that's why I like him at 15-1.
For me, it's a little slower. If you cover the 1-9 that he has, what does he really have? You know, you have horses like the 1 who could run a 10, the 3 could run a 10. You know, I mean, this horse is okay. He's on the bubble as far as I'm concerned, but I like others better in the race.
His best race came here in July. That's not the championship meet. I think he can round back into that form in July in Gulfstream again, but I think he's a little bit outclassed in this spot.
Okay, now let's go to one of the long shots, the 6, Wind of Change. Wind of Change just looks like he's outclassed. He was okay last year, April and May, but since then, especially this year, only a 17, a 12, and a 14, John.
And he's a 7-year-old, and he has a license to lose his step, and he lost his step, and he only adds more speed to the race. I don't think he has any chance in here.
No, I do think you have to acknowledge him though as a pace presence in this race.
Yeah, I do. I said he's going to add pace to the race, but
I think he's the fastest horse in the race. And I think it might soften up and set it up for horses to come from off of it. I think he needs to be taken seriously by the other horses with speed in the race, but I don't think he's a win candidate.
All right, now comes the top.
It's there to do enough damage, you know, to the other speed horses in the race. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Is this the only horse for Safi Joseph?
No.
This race?
In this race?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, yeah. No, he's got the 11 also. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's go with the top pick for both Chad and John, Prevalence, a 9-2 shot. Gaffleone on board. He's been on board every mount. Brendan Walsh, it's a great combination. Best combination potentially in the race. Started the year 14-8-7. All that went well. Bombed at the Churchill race. Draw a line through that. Came back with the 12 last time out, John.
Problem with this horse is he obviously has physical problems. He had no races at 2. As a 3-year-old, he ran 4 times. And this year, he ran 4 times early in the year, then took time off, ran the 12, and then took more time off. Generally speaking, I don't like that. It looks like the horse, again, has physical problems.
So you think what happened was something happened maybe in that Keeneland race when he hit the 7 because the Churchill race was a disaster?
Well, something happened. And listen, horses ship into Churchill and don't always run well. Even last year, the worst race he ran last year was the 25 at Churchill. Yeah. If you look, I would avoid sending this horse to Churchill
that's for sure.
In the future. Yeah. I mean, it's the worst races of his life were there. I don't like the layoff after the 12, after his last race, but listen, it's Brendan Walsh. He's no dummy. He gets Gaffleone. The horse loves Gulfstream. He's 3 for 4 at Gulfstream and 2 for 4 at the distance. You know, I just think he's going to get a great trip in here. He's going to be close enough to get first run. And at 9-2, to me, this is the right horse.
Well, he's an all or nothing. You know, he's the kind of horse that you play to win, or if you're playing exactors or tries to play him on top, and you don't need to play him underneath. His best race wins this race. He's the best horse in the race. Unfortunately, we haven't seen his best race every time. He was. I think Brandon Walsh did an interview before the race at Keeneland last time, saying that he was going to need the race and come on from the race. I would have liked to have seen him run since then at Churchill, but like you said, Jonathan, maybe they said, look, Churchill's not the place for him. And this was the race they were pointing for. So I'll give him another try at 9-2 because he does have the most talent in the race. And that means a lot in a big field where you have a chance to make a nice little check, at 9-2.
All right, let's now go to Uncle Ernie. Now, Uncle Ernie, very interesting because at 6-1, without a doubt, the best sheet number and we haven't seen this in a while, actually, a 0. 4 and a 0 last 2. So he's got the best sheet numbers, but okay. So 2 things that stick out to me is the bounce factor. Number 1, that's obvious. And number 2, this horse has never been outside of Parks. But 6-1, is that a good number though on this horse, John?
If he runs a 0, it's a great number. The chances of him running a 0 are unfortunately slim and none. I don't particularly like the horse in this spot. I don't know. I guess he could. I don't play horses that ran 0s at parks. They just very rarely come back and run well. So for that reason, I'm against him. Totally against him here.
He's a nice horse, and he likes to win races. Picks up the services of Irad Ortiz, which is an interesting, jockey change there. Obviously, Irad always has his pick of a few horses in the race, so you have to pay attention to the horse he rides. But I'm interested that he came down here. There were stake races all week, this week at Laurel, at Aqueduct, at home at Parks, and they sent him down the Gulfstream for a grade 3. Obviously, he deserves that opportunity, but this is the horse, especially. I thought with Wind of Change in the race, that really kind of is one that you're like, man, if Wind of Change isn't in the race, maybe he can get brave and clear. But with Wind of Change in there and all the other speed in there, it's going to be tough for that to happen.
Okay, let's now move on to number 9. Dean Delivers. This is another horse I like because of the odds. I think I'll throw a few bucks on this one. Look, he's been consistent over the last 4 races, 3 10s and an 11. He's finished first or second in 4 of those races, 8 out of 9 at Gulfstream with 3 wins. So not going to be in my exact and not my top play, but I'll throw a few bucks on Dean Delivers because I like the odds.
Well, the odds are fine. I mean, the horse has a shot. You can make a case for at least 5 horses in this race. This would be one of them, but I don't know. He's going to have to break through that 10, which he hasn't done yet. But he's allowed him. He has a license to do it. He's going to be 4 in a few days, and he's an improving 3-year-old. I just think that there are better horses.
This is going to be the toughest class test for him so far. And I'm just going to I'm going to side with the ones that have a little bit more battle wounds.
The 10 is a 20-1 shot. No K-No. And we've got 2 11s, actually 3 11s in the last 4 races. 2 of those 11s were on a dirt fast track at Gulfstream Park, John.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little slower. He's 4. He's going to be 5, and he's never run a single digit. Why is he going to do it?
No, thank you. No, gracias, no for me.
No, gracias.
The 11 is County Final. Jose Ortiz, Safi Joseph combo. First time for Safi Joseph. Takes over for Asmussen. We have 2 11s on a dirt fast track since April. 15 last time out at Churchill. Another horse that seems to like Churchill. At least that was a win at Churchill. What about County Final, John?
Safi Joseph and no Safi Joseph. I don't like this horse.
It's an interesting claim. They claimed them for $80,000 last time out. It's an aggressive spot back for him. I don't know really there's anywhere else to go. But with the speed in there and picking up the services of Jose Ortiz, I think he might be able to work out a good trip. The question is he good enough?
And the 12 is the final horse in the field. And this is a horse I see that both John and I are going to go with. Seal Beach, an 8-1 shot. The sheets look really good, John. Had the bad race at Saratoga in September. Since then, 18, 13, 10, and 8. Seems to be peaking at the right time. Saez on board. First time, last time. That seemed to work. He's back on board again for Michael Maker at 8-1.
Yeah, I'm only using him because he's 8-1, and his last 2 races were both good. And he may be getting good at the right time. He's never run at Gulfstream, but he has worked at Gulfstream. And, Maker certainly could get a horse to wake up. I like the 7 the best. I'm going to make a 7, 12, $10 exact the box, 7, 12. I'm going to bet 80 to win on the 7. Oh, Chad, you go. I'm sorry. Whoops. I'm ahead of myself. Sorry, Chad. I'll tell you what I'll do after Chad.
Look, I like CLT. I think he fits. I think he makes sense. And I think he's one that definitely can benefit from all this early speed because he'll be coming from behind. And I think Louis is going to fit him well. And he's got the right running style to do so. And the post doesn't concern me at the 7/8 distance because he'll have plenty of time to get over.
John?
Okay, so like I was saying, I like a $10 exact the box, 7, 12. Bet 80 to win on the 7.
Okay, so it's now a $10 exacta box 7-12 and 80 to win on the 7.
Yeah. Oh, did I send you something else?
Yeah, but it was similar.
Okay. Close enough.
Chad, I've got $5 exacta box 3, 4, 7, 11.
That should be the 12, not the 11.
Take the 11 out, put 12 in. And 20 to win place on the 7.
Oh, what? Could you read me Chad's bet so I can write them down? Sorry.
$5 exacta box 3, 4, 7, 12.
That's $60.
20 to win place on the 7.
No show today, Chad? What happened?
Well, the thing with prevalence, listen, you know what?
I don't even know why you're picking him for second. He never runs second.
No, take out the place. Give me 40 to win.
Oh,
because
jeez.
Make it 40 to win.
Wow. Now he's going to come in second.
It never happened in his life. Why is it going to happen now?
All right, and I'm going to do.
There was a time, by the way,
forget.
for the record, there was a time when Prevalence broke his maiden. Everyone said he was going to win the Kentucky Derby. It was a 3-year-old, and everyone said, "Oh, he's the second coming." So,
go ahead, Greg. How much space do I need on the page for this?
$8 exacta box 5, 7, 12.
$48.
10 to win on 5, 7, 9.
What?
And 22 to win on the 12.
22. 12. Okay.
All right, that is.
Greg in this race here is like the guy when you used to be at the OTB and the guy's rooting for one horse and then the horse
down the stretch he takes the lead.
How did this guy bet on every horse? He figured out Greg bet on every horse.
I just have to tell you something. If people are tuning in to learn how to gamble, don't follow that guy. That's for sure.
Well, listen, we're gonna keep track starting next year, and we're gonna find out whose philosophies work out best.
Yeah, and after the first month, I'm in the lead.
Okay,
what does that tell you? All right.
It's not what you know; it's who you know. I guess you're controlling the.
Yeah, my silly wagers. Gulfstream Park, race 10, 1 mile and a 16th. Grade 3 Harlan's Holiday, 150,000 3-year-olds and up. And we immediately start with Chad's top pick, O'Connor, an 8-5 shot coming off a 5 at 1 mile and a 16th at Gulfstream Park. Matter of fact, first or second, this horse has been in 8 of his last 10 races and 15 of 16 in the money on a fast dirt track with 10 wins, John.
Yeah, and what country was that?
That was that was in Chile?
Yeah, probably. Anyway, listen, the horse ran a 5. It's a real number. If he runs a 5, he'll be tough. I don't know where he's been or where he'll be after, where he was before the 5 or after the 5. But listen, if he runs the 5, he certainly has a shot.
Well, the after is the easy one, right? The winner of this race receives an invitation to the Pegasus Invitational.
Okay.
And that's the plan on most of these horses. They're looking at this as their audition for the Pegasus. O'Connor's no different. I think he was given time off that race back because he ran such a good number. And I think this was the race they've been pointing to since then. I think this was always their plan, was allowance to the Mr. Prospector to the Pegasus. Step 1 is done. Step 2 is on Saturday. And look, it's an interesting group of horses here, and we'll talk about all of them. But the ceiling is certainly the highest for O'Connor.
Yes, that's for sure.
If he can run back to that last race, for sure. Do you worry about second time in the country bouncing? 110%. You have to be worried about that for sure. But there's no doubt he has the ability to be the best horse in this race.
The problem with him is even if he runs well, who says he's going to run well coming back on 28 days to run in the Pegasus? So I don't know if this was the smartest spot for him.
I probably won't be my pick in the Pegasus. I'll tell you that right now, but he is my pick on Saturday.
That's okay. He could certainly win. If he runs the 5, he's going to win. No question. He's also 8-5 on the morning line. So.
The 2 is Pioneer and Medina. Saez Pletcher combo, so you got to like that. A very streaky horse who's streaking. So I kind of like that. Take a look at last year, 22-16 on fast dirt, then 14, 9, and 8 to begin the year. Then had a couple of bad races, but heading in the right direction again. 39, 23, 14, 11. So what about Pioneer of Medina?
Listen, the 9 and 8 that he ran earlier this year were at Fairgrounds, so obviously, he's got those numbers to go back to. Pletcher wins at 30% during this meet, so obviously the horse is live. I think he'll be shorter than the 6-1. So for that reason, I'm playing against him.
I mean, surprised or not surprised that Luis Saez ends up here as opposed to riding back Simplification. I thought that was the most interesting thing about all of this. Pioneer of whatever, he's okay, but he's kind of a notch below. Tom Pletcher doesn't aim to run his best 3-year-old at Fairgrounds. This horse just kind of ended up going to Fairgrounds to avoid some of Pletcher's other bigger, better horses. He's fine. He's just not one of the top ones from the Pletcher barn. And I think you're going to have to be one of the top ones to beat a horse like O'Connor.
Yeah, I mean, the Pioneer of Medina, like you said, John, if that number goes 4-1, 3-1, then that's not good. So,
No.
All right, the 3 is Cook Creek. No way for Cook Creek.
No way for Cook.
No way.
I don't understand why he's in this race. I mean, he's been off for a long time. This is a very, very ambitious spot off the layoff for Jeremiah O'Dwyer.
All right, now comes the 4, Simplification, a 5-1 shot. You mentioned Saez was on board last time at the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile when that was a disastrous race there because he was trending in the right direction, 12, 11, 9, 7, and that was the best number of Simplification's career, the 7 at the Pennsylvania Derby. But then not so good at the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Now Alvarado on board, has fared well at Gulfstream Park, so that is something also to keep in mind. What about Simplification, John?
You see, the problem I have with Simplification is he ran that 8 second start out this year, and look how long it took him to get back and break through that 8. It took him months and months and months to finally get back to the 7. And then off of the 7, he didn't run well at Keeneland in the Breeders' Cup, like you said. But I don't think that he's going to come right back and run the 7 or 8.
Especially at 5-1.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think he's going to come back and run. I don't think he's running well tomorrow.
Look, I mean, Antonio Sano's best known for his horse Gunnevera, who was a really cool horse, who never won. He always ran 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I mean, ran in big races, but never seemed to get the victory. And Simplification is quickly turning into that same kind of that horse. He runs good, but not good enough. I can see him hitting the board, but I can't see him winning.
South Bend, this is John's top horse. The 5-year-old at 6-1 gets Rosario on board again. And now, you look at the sheet line over the last 3 races, 12, 10, 6. So you really like that. Hasn't run a 6 before. Previous best was a 7, so that's pretty close enough. That was in December and November of last year. So you're not too worried about the bounce then, John?
Well, last year he put 7s together. And look what happened. When he ran the 7 last year, it was the same day that he ran the 6 this year, almost. It was
close
the same
enough.
amount.
Yes.
Right. And then, so that was the top last year, right?
Yes.
Then he runs the 7, he repeats it. Well, I'm hoping he does the same thing. Listen, I could be wrong. What is he, 7-1?
At 6-1.
No, he's 6-1. Yeah, okay. So at 6-1, obviously Chad's horse, the rail horse, is the horse to beat. I'm hoping this horse puts in another big effort. I don't know if he really wants to go this distance. I don't even know why I ended up on him the more I'm looking at him. But sometimes something hits you. It hit me that those 2 7s came together. I'm hoping he does 6s this year. I could be way off base here.
By the way, we didn't talk about it with O'Connor, but considering we don't have sheet numbers from Chile, when you see the 5, how do you look at it in any way, shape, or form as, well, maybe this horse will bounce?
Well, that's the whole question. That's $1 million question. We don't know what he's going to do. It's a total guess. I guess he's trained well out of that race. I mean, the works, I guess, are okay.
But it's a guess, yeah.
Of course it's a guess. Anyone that's going to tell you otherwise is full of baloney.
Chad, South Bend.
There's, to me, and I'm interested to hear Jonathan's take. Number, I get that. Okay. But my question is, South Bend seems to run his best and runs his best numbers when he's not running against best competition. when he's in there against horses that seemingly are better than him, his numbers aren't as good. But when he runs where he's the best horse in the race, he seems like he's capable of running those 6s and 7s and things like that. Is that a thing, or am I completely crazy?
You're completely crazy, but not for this reason. You're completely crazy for other reasons. But listen, there are horses that run what they have to run to win, and there are horses that run whatever they have to run to lose. You know, these horses, like they're 0 for 15, 0 for 16, and they always lay over the field on the figures. They run whatever they have to run to lose. That being said, you could be right, Chad. You know, I guess he knows the competition who he's running against. I think it more that it looks like that than it's really like that. You know, so
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong.
We'll see. We'll see. It's just I've noticed that about some horses. Sometimes I feel like sometimes they know their competition, like they're talking to them at gate, and they say, "Not today, Junior."
Yeah.
Okay, next up is another long shot, strike hard at 20-1. We've got a 10 in May, and the horse does run a lot of 12s and 10s and 11s, but 19th last time out on a faster track, which actually was a mile and a 16th, and that was, what's FAN?
FanDuel.
Oh, is that a sponsored track?
It's Fairmont. It's Fairmont
okay.
Park.
Anyway, This horse doesn't have a chance.
I don't like him.
0 for 5, never in the money at this distance, Chad.
No, look, he's a cool horse. Matthew Williams, the trainer, his family owns the horse, Miracle Holdings. They've done well with horses in the past like this, cheaper purchases. That it was only picked out of the sale for $25,000. He's made $180,000. But this is a tough spot, and I think he's going to be up against it.
Okay, next up, the 7, Skippy Longstocking. Another horse that can be streaky. We see the beginning of the season, 21, 14, 12, and 7. That went really well for the first 4 races, culminating in the Grade 2 Wood. But then went back a little bit at the Preakness, but that started another forward trajectory, 10, 9, 7. Culminating with a win in the West Virginia Derby. Last time out, a 13 at Parks. So what about? The 4-1. That's not good. That's the thing we're not happy with, right, John?
No, but he could run a 7 or a 9. You know, the more I look at this horse, I kind of like him. The 13 last time out was at the Parks, the Pennsylvania Derby, when he was extremely wide that day. Prior to that, a 7 and 9. Not only that, this is this horse's home field. You got Safi Joseph and everything else. 2 of his 3 lifetime wins have been at this track. I don't know if he's over 4-1, I would use him. Under 4-1,
Which one of those do you like the most if the odds were all the same? The 2, Pioneer and Medina, the 4, Simplification, or the 7, Skippy Longstocking?
The 7, definitely the 7.
Chad?
I thought the last time he won was on just a sloppy, nasty, terrible, ugly track at Mountain Park when he won the West Virginia Derby. I think he enjoyed the surface while others did not, and he hasn't shown me enough since then. To me he's a consistent kind of suck up horse. Maybe you put him underneath, he can run 3rd, 4th, but he's not a horse that I want to be my ride or die.
All right, and then the last horse is Clapton, an 8-1 shot. Gaffleone on board. Last time Gaffleone was on board, the horse won. That was at Gulfstream Park at 7 furlongs. Ran an 8 last time out, John, at Gulfstream Park. So what about Clapton?
He just never puts races together. 8-12. 10-12. Now he's off an 8. Looks like he's got a re-up.
The favorite Eric Clapton song?
Yeah. Well,
Chad, was that your analysis?
Oh, I'm just curious if you guys had a favorite Eric Clapton
song.
Oh,
a favorite? That was a question. Oh, no.
No. Go ahead.
I think he's just one that's just a little bit outclassed here.
All right.
All right, John, your picks?
I guess I'm stuck with a 1-5 box for $20 and 60 to win on the 5 because he's going to be a price.
So $20 active box, 1-5, 60 to win on the 5.
All right. Chad has 50 winning place on the 1.
Correct.
And you?
I'm going to do $8 exacta box, 247.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do, let's see, my top pick. I'm going to go ahead and make my top pick 52 to win on the 7.
So it is.
All right. So next week, John gets to pick the races because this was
thank God.
This was Chad's picks. These were Chad's picks.
Not exactly, but okay.
Why not exactly?
No. He just sent out a bunch of recommendations, and I just.
No, listen. I'll be honest with you guys. Look, it's December 31st. It's the last day of the year on Saturday.
That's it. Yeah.
The ball's going to be dropping. You're going to watch a lot of Kentucky football and basketball. And at the end of the day, there's great races. There really is. It's good stake races around the country.
Yeah, it is. Coast to coast, you had a lot of great races.
Baby Day at Oaklawn. Fairgrounds has some good races. And New York ends the year. The Queens County's a really good race. There's good races around the country. And we just did 2 of 6 races at Gulfstream Park. It's really, really going to be a good day of gambling action on Saturday. And don't forget, Laurel brings back all their stakes that they canceled on December 26th. On Friday, this Friday, on the 30th, you can watch a lot of good stake action on Friday in Maryland and New York. So certainly a great time of the year to end out the year with a bang.
John does not get to choose any graded stakes races next week.
But I'll get over it. Don't worry.
There are stakes races, though, at Aqueduct, Gulfstream, and Santa Anita.
All righty, guys. I got to go. Thank you. Stay safe. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
We'll see you next year. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Happy New Year. Thanks, Chad. Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to our audience out there. Don't forget, thanks icon. Use it, please. Help us. No, just kidding. Just if you enjoy the show, use the thanks icon. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And we'll talk to you guys in 2023.